We're getting to the pointy end of the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship. There are just 2 more rounds to go. The first of them is back here at Pembrey in South Wales. Last time out we were at Lyddon and it was all action right from the start of the final. Battles raged on between Kevin Proctor and Julian Godfrey, and so too between Ollie O'Donovan and Mark Higgins. O'Donovan elbowed his way through into the race lead, and although he won on the road, he was later given a penalty. That gave Higgins a second victory of the season, and 8 points cover the top 3. Mark Higgins comes here as championship leader, Ollie O'Donovan second, Julian Godfrey third ahead of Steve Hill, Roger Thomas and then Kevin Proctor. We're running on the anti-clockwise layout of Pembrey, modified around the first corner just before you get to the Joker lap.
Mark Higgins, round 8 of the MSA British Rallycross Championship. We're getting to the pointy end now. You've taken 2 wins so far this year, leading the points coming here. It's getting quite close.
Yeah, it's very close, and actually on drop scores we are a little bit behind still, so it's all to play for in the last round. The way the points work is that you can't drop your last score, so nobody knows what's going on until we get to Silverstone, so you just got to get a clean run, keep the points going, and then have a good run at Silverstone at the end of the year. But it's great, it's so close, and it could go any way, and we know what rallycross is like, anything can happen, and it normally does.
Looking forward, you won here twice in June at the doubleheader event, so you obviously like this circuit?
Yeah, I like the circuit. It's a technical circuit, it's tight and twisty. I like the track. Okay, the weather's going to dry out. I would have preferred if it stayed wet. The track is working. They've modified it again this time slightly, which is put in a very tight square left after the start. Bit apprehensive about what's going to happen there, but we'll have to wait and see.
Q1 about to get underway as the lights go to green. Everybody blasts away. This heat having Steve Hill, Tony Bardi and Julian Godfrey on the track. Tony Bardi, the man that prepares Ollie O'Donovan's cars, and he's here to see not only how well he can go but also whether he can take points away from Double OD's main rivals in the championship. But Julian Godfrey steals the early march out of that re-profiled first section towards Hanson's through Ollie's, and Bardi goes for the Joker lap. Now it's been a very wet morning. You can see just how slippery the road is. The supercar entry, not a huge one this weekend, but Julian Godfrey here aiming to make good his escape. Steve Hill chasing after him in the Mitsubishi. The Lancer goes after the Mirage then. Last lap, they thread their way now through Toyos up towards the line, but it's going to be a race win for Julian Godfrey. The question is whether he will set the faster of the 2 race-winning times in Q1. Steve Hill second, Tony Bardi third. Race 2 for the supercars is go. Good start by Higgins, good start by O'Donovan. Liam Manning is in the race too, but it's going to be between Higgins and O'Donovan as they get up towards that first corner. So now it is a 90 left and then you turn right towards Hanson's. Higgins has the advantage, O'Donovan right on his tail, tries to get up the inside, but the British Rally champion fends off the British Rally Cross champion. O'Donovan goes for the Joker lap. That's the longer, slower route. So Higgins then on the normal lap comes down towards the hairpin through paddock, fighting the car across the loose. This new circuit at Pembrey has been a really big hit, gave us great racing in each direction back here in the summer. So O'Donovan down to third. Now let's see how he fares relative to Liam Manning, but crucially against this man, Mark Higgins, the race leader. Through they come with O'Donovan now up into second. Hustling on behind the wheel of the Fiesta. The Focus was driven in the earlier race by the car preparer, Tony Bardi. Liam Manning really needs the conditions to be wetter to have a realistic chance in that less powerful Subaru Impreza. He's on home soil, but Mark Higgins is absolutely flying. Goes for the Joker lap this time. Is he going to stay ahead of O'Donovan? He should do, he does do. So Mark Higgins still leads the race, and this is looking very good for him. But the next question is going to be whether or not he is going to be faster than Julian Godfrey. Understeering his way through the hairpin, back onto the straight here. This is Speedway Straight, up towards Brooklands hairpin. For the final time, Mark Higgins chucks the car into the corner, catches it, balances against the throttle, and now squirts his way across the loose section. He's heading for a race win. He comes now out of Toyos, up towards the checkered flag. Mark Higgins wins the race and does go fastest in Q1 ahead of a spectacularly sideways Ollie O'Donovan, who's having a big moment. Drama even after the flag, but Mark Higgins wins Q1 from Julian Godfrey. Ollie O'Donovan third ahead of Steve Hill, Tony Bardi and then Liam Manning.
4 fastest time in Q1. The boys haven't got long to turn the car around. How's today going for you?
Yeah, good so far. It's quite slippery out there, but feels quite good. You know, struggling at the hairpin, not quite sure why, but we see if we can soften off at the back and go a bit quicker then.
Mark, fastest time in Q1 here at Pembrey, but the circuit's drying now, isn't it? Certainly on the tarmac, but the loose is still very wet, so it must be difficult tyre strategy-wise.
Yeah, we're getting very close to that borderline now with tyres, so it's knowing what to do and who goes first onto the slick tyre. I mean, the tarmac, there's no real standing water there, and the slick tyre is probably a better tyre than what the wet is. So it's going to be very much up and down for the next heat.
Q2 is set to get underway. Tony Bardi, Liam Manning, Nigel Burke, the two local drivers with the Subarus chasing Tony Bardi. Good to have Nigel Burke back in the championship. He was beset by technical problems when we were here in the summer, and Tony Bardi goes 90 left and then turns right through Hanson's. He should be the man to beat in this race. Vastly experienced rallycrosser going back, to the 1980s, and the man that prepares this car for Ollie O'Donovan. Tony Bardi has done circuit racing in the past as well as rallycross, but even that was in the late 80s in the Metro Challenge, Metro Turbo days. Here he comes then through the hairpin, heading towards tarmac, and now that the road is drying, that really does take away one of the opportunities for Liam Manning to go after him. He wants the conditions to be much, much wetter. Nigel Burke accelerates away as well, but he too is dropping away from Manning, so it looks as though the order now might well be formed. Across the loose, through Toyos, but there you've got the race leader Tony Bardi getting away. Liam Manning giving it everything. Father Mike Manning we've seen regularly in rallycross over the years, and indeed in autographs prior to that. And Liam Manning, the Welshman, who goes really well in this car, just needs another couple of hundred horsepower really. Comes across the loose here. Down towards paddock he goes as Nigel Burke chases on behind his Subaru Impreza. Again, less powerful, but the main aim is to get through the day without dramas. That was not the case back here in the summer. Turning his way then out of Ollie's, around Hanson's. This is where the Joker section is. And he comes across the loose, down now towards paddock, and then into the hairpin where you step from the loose to the tarmac midway around the corner. Tony Bardi though is set for the race win, looking very strong indeed here as he comes then now down towards the hairpin once more, back onto the power, and look at the way now the road is getting much, much drier. It's getting much, much faster as well, and this is going to be a race win for Bardi, but those in the next race will have an even drier circuit and should get even quicker times. He comes through Toyos, and Tony Bardi is going to win race 1 in Q2. And we'll wait and see what the time is like as a wildly understeering Nigel Burke hits the tarmac once again behind Liam Manning, who is second. We're good to go for race 2 in Q2. Lights go to green, and a great start by Julian Godfrey. The 5 times British Rallycross champion storms away. Mark Higgins is going to be on the inside. Can he get through? He tries, but that then puts him on the outside line. He does go through. Excellent move by Mark Higgins. Robust, but it works for him. That first left-right sequence, absolutely crucial. Julian Godfrey goes for the Joker, gets that out of the way. So Higgins leads from O'Donovan. Steve Hill fourth, trying now to play catch-up as they come across the loose for the first time. This is O'Donovan, hard at work. Down a gear, flick the handbrake, get it round the hairpin. Mark Higgins, rally champion, stunt driver, and now very good rallycross driver, leads the way. His arrival in the championship this year has been a breath of fresh air. It's moved everything on a level. Can he be the champion in his first full season in the sport? It's possible, but it's not going to be easy. Turning his way through that long, fast left-hander of Senna's. This is Higgins' view now. Gets all sideways as he flicks the car through Ollie's, and now across the loose towards Hanson's. There is Steve Hill, struggling for pace it seems today, as O'Donovan goes for the Joker lap now. This is Steve Hill's view. From Senna's through Ollie's to the loose. Godfrey ahead of O'Donovan on the Joker. So remember, Julian Godfrey got that out of the way earlier on. Can he pick up the race lead when Higgins jokers? Mitsubishi Mirage accelerating its way then now out of the hairpin. This car used last year by James Grint, badly damaged at Croft at the start of the season. It's extraordinary to think that after that Godfrey could be on for a 6th title. Across the loose he comes once more. So Julian Godfrey ahead of Ollie O'Donovan. He's managed to do that on the Joker lap, but the next question is, as Mark Higgins goes for the Joker, can Godfrey take over the race lead? Here is Higgins. He's on the longer lap, the slower lap. Back towards the normal line. Where is he in relation to Julian Godfrey? It's going to be close, but Higgins stays ahead. Mark Higgins still leads then as they fishtail across the loose through paddock. There is Steve Hill, but he has dropped a bit too far back now to be a real threat in that Mitsubishi Lancer. onto the tarmac comes Mark Higgins, and it looks as though he is on target to score another race win and to go fastest in Q2 on this ever-drying circuit. One more round of the championship at Silverstone on November the 4th, still to come, as here, onto his last lap goes Mark Higgins with Julian Godfrey chasing hard, but I'm not convinced he's going to be able to bring the gap down. The Albatech racing car is looking so strong up front. Godfrey across the loose, he's close to Higgins, but he really needs Mark to make a mistake, and they come pretty rare. Through paddock, down towards the hairpin now. Peugeot leads Mitsubishi. 208 ahead of the Mirage. The gap is down, but Higgins still looks to have it all under control. This long, fast tarmac section of this circuit, a real contrast from the very tight and twisty Silverstone that we go to next. It was there the championship started. It'll be a return, hopefully a warmer return to Silverstone. Who will go as championship leader? Mark Higgins wins this race. He's going the right way about it. At the end of Q2, Mark Higgins the fastest from Julian Godfrey and Ollie O'Donovan. Tony Bardy's race-winning time putting him 4th ahead of Steve Hill, Liam Manning and then Nigel Burke.
Ollie, 2 qualifiers done here at Pembrey. You've started on the outside in both of them. How's it going so far for you?
We're okay, Hal. We're actually on the outside again for Q3. Not really happy with the outside of the track. There's quite a lot of oil on the start. I'm just making a lot of little mistakes, probably overdriving the car. I just need to dial it back a little bit, hoping for Q3. I'd like to be in the middle of the grid for the final. I'd be happy with the middle, but I need to work and get in that place.
Tony Bardy, your first appearance of the season in British Championship Supercar, finished on the podium at the Grand Prix last year. Difficult conditions for you to get back into a car today.
Yeah, track I've never been on before as well. It's fairly challenging, and it's just a fitness point for myself I need to do. I've been making a few mistakes, so hopefully I'll tidy myself up and get a bit quicker.
A lot of work for the boys as well, running both cars, but all under control.
Yeah, it's fine till something goes wrong really, just a general bit of spannering's fine, and then so me and Ollie have to try and keep them both on the road.
Liam, another appearance in the British Championship for you this year. Challenging track here at Pembrey, but your home circuit, how's it going for you?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I quite like the start of the change now on that. It's quite fast down to the first bend. I'm not so sure on the loose though. It's not really for me, but we'll give it a go. You
were out in round 3 at Croft and did really well in the wet conditions. Obviously your car's slightly underpowered compared to the rest of the supercars. Is it the same effect happening today?
Well, it's not quite wet enough for me. I would like it a bit more, but it seems to be drying up now, so it's not really favouring.
But nevertheless, fun to drive at your home circuit.
Oh yeah, it's all good experience.
Julian, you come in 3rd in the MSA British Rallycross Championship. A really close fight between you, Mark and Ollie for this title. How's it been going for you so far today here at Pembrey?
Not too bad. First heat, won the first heat, but only second fastest time. Mark just been by a couple of hundredths a second. Made a few mistakes in the first heat, and but no, so quite happy with that. The second heat got a good start again. First in the first corner, but Mark decided it pushed me out wide and barged past and ended up second place. But it really bent the tracking on the steering, had about 50mm toe in on the steering, so it was a bit difficult to drive. But I was to keep with Mark like that, so hopefully with the car running well, we'll be on the post of Mark.
Q3 about to get underway. Steve Hill takes on the Subarus. Liam Manning and Nigel Burke on the grid for this as the lights go to green. Steve Hill accelerates up the inside line. In theory, he should be the winner of this, but a bad start by Liam Manning. Hill locks up as they head up towards Ollie's. Then you now go through this 90 left, then you turn right. Nigel Burke was ahead of Manning, but he's made a bit of a mess of it and goes deep into the first element. That forces him out wide. So Liam Manning's Subaru goes ahead of the similar Impreza. Steve Hill really does look as though he's been struggling for pace all day. Let's see whether things are improving in this final qualifying race for him. Down towards paddock goes Liam Manning. And now I think you're going to have a battle for second place between the Subarus. Steve Hill should be able to get away here. Accelerates his way up now towards the Brooklands hairpin, then towards Toyo's. There is Manning in second spot. The Tenby Road filling station backed Impreza from the Carmarthen driver Liam Manning comes now up towards Senna's. Speed building all the time on this very fast tarmac section out of the back of the circuit. Nigel Burke goes through, and now they wriggle their way onto the loose section once again. So Liam Manning sets off in pursuit of Steve Hill. But again, as the road is drying and everything is getting faster, this goes against the relatively underpowered Subaru of Liam Manning. He's throwing everything at it. It's all good experience, as he was saying during the break between Q2 and Q3. As Steve Hill, though, is getting faster and faster and getting clear of the opposition here. On board with him. Turning his way out of Toyo's now, up towards the normal lap, if you like, round Pembrey, and on towards Senna's round the back part of the circuit. Now stand on the brakes, set the car up for Ollie's, and then to the loose section around Hanson's. They're leaning on the suspension, Liam Manning, but Steve Hill is on target for a race win. The real question now, with a clear road ahead of him, is how good a race winning time this is going to be in relation to those that will come next. Across the loose goes Nigel Burke, the car going much better today, certainly mechanically. It may not be as quick as he would like, but it's holding together, and that wasn't the case when we were here a few months ago. Steve Hill up through the gears, clear road ahead of him, good visibility, and turns now to the Brooklands hairpin. That tightens as you go through Toyo's. In the meantime, Liam Manning is set for second place here. Comes from good motorsport stock, does Liam. And it would be great to see him in the championship full-time next season, especially if he can find a few more horses under the hood of the Impreza. Onto the last lap then now as he comes towards Ollie's and then around Hanson's. Loads of understeer though there, look, as he tries to fight the car into the turning point. Around the Joker lap goes Steve Hill, but he's going to be clear of the opposition here, looking really strong up front. Across the loose he comes, speed building all the time here. Turns his way back onto the tarmac and now accelerates for the last time up towards the Brooklands hairpin. Behind him, still pushing hard there, look, in 124 is Liam Manning, and Nigel Burke third. He's dropped a long way back. Subaru Impreza kind of belies its age in a sense, but you forget how long it's been on the scene. Steve Hill in the Mitsubishi Lancer, and that is not exactly in the first flush of youth, comes through looking good for the race win ahead of Liam Manning. Nigel Burke is going to be third. For Steve Hill, a relatively easy race, but he still, I suspect, is lacking in terms of speed and time against the opposition. As ever here at Pembrey, we have had some great racing. Mark Higgins, Ollie O'Donovan, two of the drivers, Julian Godfrey the third, all fighting for this year's British Rallycross Championship title.
Steve, a good run in Q3 there, but a problem towards the end of lap 3. The boys are working hard now. Can you get out for the final?
Yeah, we've got it fixed already. 2 laps really good. The last lap we had no boost. We broke the EGR valve, which lets the boost out of the engine. So basically it runs like a 1300 Mini.
The pace is hot at the front. I think you'll be starting on the second row of the grid. What can you do from there?
Try and make a good start and get in amongst them. That's all you can do. And then keep pushing. Try and joke early if the others don't.
The final qualifying race of the day is coming up. Mark Higgins takes the grid with Julian Godfrey, Ollie O'Donovan and Tony Bardi for company. When the lights go green, we will be racing now. Who makes the best start? Demon getaway by O'Donovan on the outside. Julian Godfrey in the middle makes a really good start. Higgins though has the inside line. Can he get up alongside Godfrey? Let's see. Mark Higgins to the inside line. He goes through. Godfrey goes wide. O'Donovan gets up the inside of this contact and Higgins gets tapped into a slide. And around he goes. Julian Godfrey comes through on the inside to try and take the lead. O'Donovan, foot nailed to the floor. Round the outside, they touch. And O'Donovan goes through. Goes out wide. Godfrey fights back then. Ollie O'Donovan still trying to get the car back under control. Fishtailing across the front of Julian Godfrey. And he just hangs on to the race lead as they turn now down towards the hairpin. Julian Godfrey oh so close to tapping the tail of O'Donovan, but he resists. Bardi is third and Mark Higgins in a distant fourth after that contact tapped him into the spin. Higgins now has got a lot of work to do. If anybody can rise to the occasion, he is that man. O'Donovan through Toyo's now, getting a little bit crossed up, but Julian Godfrey with that flapping bonnet still can't find a way past him. These cars on the limit, absolutely fabulous to watch. You can see the way the acceleration kicks in. The cars lift themselves off the ground, and then as soon as you hit the brakes, the nose dips savagely once again. There is Godfrey for the Joker lap, and Tony Bardi goes with him. Ollie O'Donovan now getting clear as Mark Higgins tries to buy back places. He will go ahead of Bardi. And Higgins closing up onto the tail of Julian Godfrey. Higgins is going to be absolutely livid about that incident at the start. There was contact between him and Julian Godfrey in the earlier race. Godfrey wasn't overly impressed. This time Higgins is the one that comes a cropper. He's ahead of Tony Bardi then in the focus. A long speedway straight they come now. Mark Higgins through Toyos, out of the hairpin. And now going after Julian Godfrey. Can he find a way back through ahead of him? And what about Ollie O'Donovan, the race leader? Is he going to be able to hang on to this advantage? We will see. The cars turn their way to the loose section, then out of Ollie's, named after Ollie O'Donovan. And there, look, Higgins is closing on Julian Godfrey. O'Donovan goes for the Joker lap. Is this where we get a change of race lead? Let's see. There's O'Donovan. Look for the white Mitsubishi Mirage. It's going to be close, but O'Donovan stays ahead. That's absolutely critical. He's sideways coming down towards paddock. Godfrey looks for a way through, but there just isn't the room. To the hairpin. Is there a gap on the inside coming out of the corner? There was, but Godfrey not close enough to accelerate up the inside. Mark Higgins riding shotgun as well, waiting for them to tangle ahead. Ollie O'Donovan leads the way. Stabbing on and off the brakes. There you can see the nose dip, rise. He's on the power. And now comes out of Toyos up towards the start of the last lap. It's 3 for the race lead because Mark Higgins is there as well. Out of Ollie's and now through Hanson's with the Joker section to the left-hand side. Understeer becomes oversteer for O'Donovan. Godfrey, 5 times a champion. He's on the back of Ollie O'Donovan, who's also, of course, a former British champion. And Mark Higgins could be British champion this year in his first season in Rallycross. O'Donovan very sideways indeed, right across the front of Godfrey. That denies him the chance to get up the inside on this long, fast straight now, up towards Brooklands. Brake for the corner. O'Donovan has this under control, and Mark Higgins trying to find a way past Julian Godfrey for second place. Godfrey crawling all over the back of Ollie O'Donovan, who is going to win the race. Ollie O'Donovan wins in Q3 just ahead of Julian Godfrey. Then it's Mark Higgins third and Tony Bardi fourth. All action in Q3. Ollie O'Donovan is the fastest ahead of Julian Godfrey and Mark Higgins, Tony Bardi fourth. Steve Hill fifth, of course, after that turbo boost problem.
Ollie, a bit of contact between all of you in the first corner there of Q3, but you got ahead in front and set the fastest time.
Yeah, there was a little bit of rubbing ahead on the braking, first square, left square. He's really tight there. I got a nudge in the back. I nudged Mark. He got punted off to the left a wee bit. Then I had to come around Julian around the outside in the gravel. I didn't think we could do that move, but it paid and it worked out. And then we just put our head down for a couple of good laps.
Julian, second fastest time there, a bit of a coming together between all of you in the first corner, but second on the grid for the final. That's quite a good position.
Yeah, no, it's on the front row, which is the main thing, and second's not so bad. Just got really get a good start and just try and get up around the outside of Mark off the start line. It's going to be tough into the final there. Looking forward to it. The track's drying out now, so hopefully be a good clean final.
Mark, a spin in the first corner of Q3. There's some contact, but you caught up very quickly to the pack. You're obviously very comfortable in the car this afternoon.
Yeah, we got pit manoeuvred going into the first corner, unfortunately, so that spun us. We got to the back of the grid, and then we sort of caught back up on the back, got back into third, very close behind the bunch. So yeah, we just hope we don't have the same happen in the final. It's all about the start here, and then just get a good pace, keep consistent, and make no mistakes. And Ollie and Julian are very strong on the start. You know, we haven't had a mega day of starts. The last one was quite good, so hopefully we're saving this one for the final.
And there's more great racing coming up, not just from the supercars. We've got the final for the juniors and also the Super Nationals to look forward to, plus the all-important Supercar Showdown. Here at Pembrey for the Toyo Tyres MSA British Rallycross Championship, there's a whole host of action, especially coming from the juniors. They always are spectacular, and James Constantine, Tom Constantine and Marius Solberg Hansen have topped the qualifying times in each of the 3 runs. The final is a 6-lap race. The grid is formed. Tom Constantine, championship leader, 4 times a winner on pole. Luke Constantine, second in the championship alongside him. Marius Solberg Hansen on the outside of row 1. He's third in the championship. Then it's Patrick O'Donovan and James Constantine, Will Leighton, Morgan Root and Eleanor Corner on the back of the grid as we go racing. This the view from on board with Patrick O'Donovan. Good start made by the Constantines just up the road ahead as they now come to this reprofiled 90 left and then right hand corner that takes them through onto Ollie's and then Hansen's, and there's a spin already and it's Morgan Root facing the wrong way. Drama right from the start as bouncing towards the loose section goes Luke Constantine in 107. He's not the only one to joker early. Down towards paddock they come. So all of these cars, the same type of Suzuki Swift. They've got 1.3 litre engines, all the drivers 14 to 17 years of age, and it's a very level playing field indeed. underpowered cars, it means the driver has to maintain the momentum, keep the speed up all the time, don't bog down, and it's been a really good way of finding young rallycross talent. The Suzuki Swift has come out of the history of the championship. It used to be the Mini, but the Suzuki Swift now a newer car, and delivering very good racing indeed. You're looking at the red car of Will Layton making progress, chipping its way up the order. So at the end of lap 1, Tom Constantine, championship leader, 4 times a winner this season. He leads the way. There is Will Layton getting himself up the order. Moving ahead of Marius Solberg Hansen now, who goes for the Joker lap. And Marius Solberg Hansen, who is 3rd in the championship. He's been a double winner this season, trying to fight back now. It was a win apiece for Tom and Luke Constantine when we were here last time in the summer, when we had one day in each direction. Marius Solberg Hansen with work to do, as up front now, still looking oh so good, is Tom Constantine, turning his way through Toyos, out of the Brooklands hairpin. A bit of a lock-up from the opposition behind. They're going through, look, you can see in 107, Luke Constantine. So he's got some work to do, having jokered earlier on. He needs, really, everybody else to get out of his way now, and then the road is clear again. Overtaking never that easy in rallycross. That's why the Joker lap has been put in. This is Patrick O'Donovan's view. You can see how the road is drying all the time as he now goes for the Joker. So it's a longer lap and it's a slightly slower, tighter lap. Brake hard, turn right. Now the speed builds as you come back on at the exit of Hansen's. You can see as well now, as the day has gone on, how all the loose has been swept to one side there, down towards the hairpin. As through on the inside goes Luke Constantine. That puts him ahead of Will Layton now as he chips his way up the order. You can overtake, but you're always a little bit dependent on forcing a mistake out of the guy ahead of you. So Tom Constantine leads the way, and it is a massive margin now. Looking so strong, but when he jokers, it could well be a whole different ball game. Luke Constantine chases on. Cousin James is further back in the pack, running currently in 5th place. There he is in the green car, and a bit of a lock-up. There's tar smoke evident as he goes down through Senna's in towards Ollie's. Now round Hansen's on the loose. Patrick O'Donovan is under attack. That was James Constantine trying to get up the inside of him. It didn't quite work. Constantine elbows his way up now on the inside there to go through. And that was against Marius Solberg Hansen. So aggressive stuff, and he does go by. This is Patrick O'Donovan's view. Along the Speedway straight section up towards the Brooklands hairpin. In a 1300cc car, it must feel like a very long straight indeed. Wide, deep into the corner ahead of him goes Will Layton, however. This lot all bunching up. The Constantines getting away up front. A little bit wide goes Cousin James there in the green and black car. He's still looking for a way up the order. Marius Solberg Hansen ahead of him. O'Donovan to the inside, and he goes past Layton. Then he picks up a place. More rubbing. James Constantine up on the outside, but he can't do it. Here comes Solberg Hansen, who gets into the back of Constantine, but he still can't dislodge him. Across the loose they come. And Tom Constantine now, having served his Joker, has got the pack bearing down on him. Lots of understeer as they come out of the hairpin. Wide goes James Constantine. Solberg Hansen up the inside. Contact is made. And off the road goes James Constantine. That's going to lose him a whole heap of ground and a whole load of places. That may not go down a storm with the officials. We'll wait and see. Marius Solberg Hansen in the Peter Gwynn Motorsport run car. Elbows out, trying to gain ground. This is Patrick O'Donovan's view. Onto the last lap, though, goes the race leader. It is now Luke Constantine ahead of Tom. There is Luke, turning his way out of that very tight left at Ollie's. 2nd and 3rd together now. Tom Constantine just ahead of Patrick O'Donovan. Nose to tail they run. Is Luke on target for a 2nd win of the season here? O'Donovan looking for a way through. Behind O'Donovan is Marius Solberg Hansen, and we know that the Norwegian has been in uncompromising form in this race. Down through the hairpin now. Back onto the power. A little bit of damage at the front look of Tom Constantine's car. O'Donovan tries to get up on the inside line here, and he goes through. Luke Constantine, though, is set for the race win. Who is going to be 2nd behind him? Let's see as they come to the hairpin. A big lock-up. Patrick O'Donovan it is that has the place, but through goes Luke Constantine to win the MSA Junior Rallycross Championship Final. 2nd, he's going to go the way of O'Donovan. 3rd, Marius Solberg Hansen, and 4th, dropping towards the end, is Tom Constantine. But a penalty given to Marius Solberg Hansen for contact. So it's Luke Constantine, Patrick O'Donovan, and then Tom Constantine, the top three. What does that do to the championship? With 1 round to go, it means that Luke Constantine is 1 point clear of Tom Constantine, Ben Sayer third from James Constantine, and then MSH fifth.
Luke, you took your first victory in the MSA British Rallycross Junior category here at Pembrey in June, and you've won again today. A good drive, and fortunate when Tom ran into problems.
Yeah. Tom was miles out in front. I probably wouldn't have got him if it wasn't for mechanical issues, but that's just racing. So I got lucky, but he'll come fighting back.
Patrick O'Donovan, you didn't have a brilliant weekend with the double header here back in June, but a solid drive today. Struggled a bit in the first two qualifiers, but got your head down and drove a really mature final, I think.
Yeah, it definitely went a lot better than last time. Got taken out quite early on in last time's race, but I found track conditions improved over the day, so that really helped. It's a bit slippery down into the first corner. Apparently I made a few minor cuts, but it was a good finish, so happy with that.
There's always great racing from the Super Nationals and Super 1600s, and here at Pembrey, no exception. They started the day on a slippery circuit. Paige Bellaby was fastest in Q1 ahead of Jack Thorne and Tristan Avendon. The Clio not really working on a slippery road with all that grunt. Paige Bellaby quickest again in Q2. Jack Thorne second, and that man Tristan Avendon was third fastest. We're ready for Q3. Super National, Super 1600 action is good to go. Paige Bellaby makes a good start, so does Tristan Avendon. Jack Thorne bogs down a bit. It's going to be the Lotus Exige versus the V6 Clio, and Avendon on a drying road knows this is the chance, and he goes through at the first corner, uses all of the road, wriggles his way left and then right, and so Tristan Avendon leads. Paige Bellaby second. The Lotus gets sideways and spins across the front of Paul Coney. Contact between the two. This is Craig Lomax's view, so his Super 1600 car now up into third place. And Jack Thorne, having dropped back off the grid, now has got work to do as well. There is Paige Bellaby getting away, but I'm afraid to say a long way back. Tristan Avendon now on this ever drying surface should be able to pull clear. On board with Lomax, up through the gears. Craig Lomax 3 points adrift of Darren Scott within the Super 1600 Championship. Tristan Avendon is the man rather dominating in the Super National contest. Paige Bellaby running second in point and not at Silverstone. So this the last chance we're going to see her this weekend. Hopefully she'll be able to get through into the final and have a good run to round out her season. But Paige Bellaby will not do the Silverstone round. We anticipate that Father Dave is going to take over the Lotus, and that will be well worth watching. Across the loose comes Tristan Avendon then. Behind him, it's Paul Coney, and the gap comes down as they break for the hairpin. Here is the Lotus. So trying to recover after that earlier drama. Paige Bellaby pressing on. Remember, she started the season with that borrowed Vauxhall VX220, and now back behind the wheel of the Lotus Exige, going strongly. 2 fastest times, but tapped into that spin at the start. Paul Coney here is the leader of the Super 1600 element of the race, and getting away from Craig Lomax. There is Avendon heading towards that tight corner of Ollie's, down onto the loose at Hanson's. Paul Coney bouncing his way across the loose, finds one big rut, and that really unsettles the car as he goes now for the Joker lap. Craig Lomax goes with him, and there Jack Thorne pressing on. Thorne has looked good as ever. He moves ahead of Lomax on the Joker. The Citroen C2 goes wide, understeers deep towards all that boggy earth, but he recovers and gets the line down to the hairpin. Jack Thorne, winner at Silverstone, winner here earlier on in the season. Accelerates through now, ahead of Craig Lomax. Lomax up a gear towards the Brooklands hairpin. Wheel lifting, Jack Thorne fends him off. The Super 1600s scream away. Onto the last lap goes Jack Thorne in the Citroen. Craig Lomax still chasing on behind him. You get an impression when you go on board how much effort is being put into the cars. So Jack Thorne, who we did see oh so briefly as a supercar driver until the money ran out. There, Paige Bellaby going ahead of Kirk Twyman's rather more standard looking Clio. So Paige Bellaby is fighting back, but frustrated of course after that earlier drama. Across the loose goes Lomax third, Thorne second. Sorry, apologies, fourth and third they are, because there's still Paul Coney ahead, isn't there, leading the Super 1600 part of the race. Tristan Avendon is away and gone, and here he is through Toyos. checkered flag is at the ready, and Tristan Ovenden comes through to win the last qualifying race in Super National and Super 1600. Paul Coney takes second ahead of Jack Thorne. Then it's Craig Lomax. Fifth, Scott Singleton, the man from County Armagh, and Paige Bellaby is down in sixth place. So at the end of qualifying, it is Tristan Ovenden and Jack Thorne tied on 7 points, just one ahead of Paige Bellaby and then Paul Coney. The MSA Super National and Super 1600 final here at Pembrey is set to get underway. Tristan Ovenden is on pole from Jack Thorne and Paige Bellaby. Then it's Paul Coney and Craig Lomax with Scott Singleton and Kirk Twyman at the back of the grid. Lights go green, it's blast off. Great start by Tristan Ovenden, and all of that power from the mighty V6 Clio rockets him into the race lead. The rest of them were given a really good chance early on in the day when it was wet, but now on a bone dry circuit, this should be another win for Tristan Ovenden. He's already had 5 final victories. He leads the championship, and this is going to extend the margin over the opposition going to Silverstone, seemingly. Second, it's Paige Bellaby then, across the loose, and you can see now as the road has dried how the loose has been swept off the racing line. Craig Lomax through, chasing after Paul Coney. Numbers down a little bit this weekend in Super 1600, so Darren Scott in danger of losing his championship lead. Craig Lomax gets it all wrong coming into the hairpin. Now, did something break or was that a mistake? Because suddenly the car completely out of control. He rejoins just ahead of Jack Thorne. Do they make contact? Let's see. Lomax stays ahead, but not for long. Jack Thorne goes through. I think something's broken, or it might be a puncture, but either way, suddenly Lomax lost it. Most unlike him, and clearly he's got a problem. Craig Lomax is out of the race. The man that came here third in Super 1600 in the championship is going no further. Bellaby sideways. Can she hang on to it? Just about, but as she comes across the road, clobbers Paul Coney. And now as Coney got damaged, something has broken there as well. That means Jack Thorne goes through. So in the championship, Darren Scott not here, Paul Coney out, Craig Lomax out, and Jack Thorne suddenly has a golden chance to gain places, and that's Bellaby off the road again. What's going on here? This is a race that nobody wants to finish. Tristan Ovenden is away and gone. Paige Bellaby tries to work out where the circuit is and set off again out of the Brooklands hairpin. Extraordinary race this. Jack Thorne's Citroen is gifted another place. Tristan Ovenden can't believe his luck. He is on target to win. He's already 9.4 seconds to the good. There is Scott Singleton running in third, the man from County Armagh with the venerable Vauxhall Nova, but he suddenly is looking at a podium finish. There is Jack Thorne. So now in Super 1600, he's got a really good chance of gaining points here. So across the loose comes the little Citroen, as up front is the big Clio. That is Tristan Ovenden at the wheel. The reigning champion then accelerates on towards win number 6, seemingly, as there is Paige Bellaby. It was at this section coming through paddock that she got it wrong earlier in the race. This time survives and comes down towards the hairpin, turn through the left. And that's Scott Singleton. He's not going to get to the podium, he's not going to get to the finish. It has all gone smokily wrong for him. Scott Singleton is out of the race. So we've now got 4 survivors, and Tristan Ovenden is set to be the race winner. Paige Bellaby goes through. She, remember, is behind Jack Thorne. There is Kirk Twyman. But what a bizarre race this has been. Tristan Ovenden leads the way, and he's nearly a lap up on Bellaby and Twyman here. Paige Bellaby with a problem, of course, after that earlier slide and the contact, and the car limping to the end and for points. Jack Thorne behind Tristan Ovenden, but Ovenden, look, is third in this shot. Down to the hairpin, he's nearly a lap ahead of the very much more standard-looking Clio of Kirk Twyman. The V6 Renault makes an absolutely glorious noise. The symphonic-sounding Clio up on the inside to lap Kirk Twyman. The checkered flag is at the ready. A 6th win of the season is on the cards here for the dominant Tristan Ovenden. He wins at Pembrey. Tristan Ovenden wins from Jack Thorne, 7 seconds between them. A further 42 seconds back. Paige Bellaby third and Kirk Twyman in fourth. And just those 4 got to the end. So the championship standings now have Tristan Avondon ahead of Paige Bellaby, with Jack Thorne up to third. In Super 1600, it's Thorne as the new leader.
Tristan Avondon, this morning the conditions weren't your friend, and I think it's fair to say you really struggled in Q1, but the days got progressively better and you dominated the final yet again.
Yeah, it really was a struggle. Yeah, I was scratching my head. We changed a few bits, but we was expecting the weather to dry up. Yeah, and the drier it got, went back to what we knew, and the car was good again.
You're doing well in both the Super 600 Championship and Super National. Is this year living up to your expectations? Obviously you've changed car halfway through the season, but overall?
Obviously I'd rather be in the Twingo. The Citroen is still a very fast car, as it's proven. But yeah, Super 1600, we plan to take the fight all the way, and it's certainly going to go down to the last round, I think. So.
A really difficult final, but you fought back to finish on the podium.
Yeah, it started off really amazing today actually, and I thought we're going to have a top step because we haven't had one this year, so I was really hoping for it. Just a bit of a shame that it wasn't where we wanted to be, but still happy.
The highlight of the day is always the MSA British Rallycross Championship final. Mark Higgins starts on pole position from Julian Godfrey and Ollie O'Donovan. Row 2 is Tony Bardi and Steve Hill, and then it's Liam Manning and Nigel Burke at the back of the grid. First corner is going to be crucial. Lights go to green. Great start by Godfrey. Mark Higgins bogs down a little. He's on the inside of O'Donovan. There's contact between the two. Higgins elbowing his way up the inside. O'Donovan elbowing his way up the other side. They touch again, and it's Higgins that comes a cropper. He gets fired out onto the grass. Ollie O'Donovan in uncompromising form. The two cross swords, remember, at Liddon. There, O'Donovan got a penalty, and here it is Higgins that comes off worse because he's dropped to the back of the pack. He got roughed up in Q3, and it's happened again. Godfrey leads the way then. Second is O'Donovan. In third, it is Tony Bardi. And Bardi, remember, needs to stay ahead of Higgins. He's teammate to O'Donovan, and he'll take points away from the Albatech Racing driver. On board with Higgins as Godfrey leads the pack. Up they turn through the Brooklands hairpin. Now Mark Higgins tries to find a way past the massively experienced Tony Bardi. Higgins looks the quicker. Can he find a gap on the inside? Slides, gets a tighter line, but he can't quite get up alongside the Ford Focus, or can he? No. Had a go, fishtails out of the corner, now goes for the Joker lap, gets that out of the way, hoping that he'll then get clear circuit space ahead of him, and as others joker, he can pick up the places. Through the dust storm goes Higgins, and he gets back on just ahead of Liam Manning and Steve Hill's cars there. So you've got Higgins coming down now towards the hairpin. Steve Hill chasing after him. There in the background is Manning, he jokered, so it's Nigel Burke ahead of him, in fact, through the dust cloud. Tony Bardi through Brooklands hairpin. Up front, Julian Godfrey leads the way. Remember, he has had one win in terms of points, because with non-registered drivers ahead of him at Silverstone, he took the maximum points there at the start of the season. He also won at Croft on the second visit there, and he could be a Pembrey winner too. This is Ollie O'Donovan's view as he goes for the Joker lap. Through he turns and he stays ahead of Tony Bardi, which means he stays ahead of Mark Higgins. Mark very frustrated now because he's not gaining places back. All the drivers saying how critical the start is, and to a degree, although that 90 left and then the right-hander into Ollie's at the start of the race has made for an extra dimension, it's also affected people, because if you have an incident there, it's very, very hard to come back from it. Nigel Burke through as you look at Julian Godfrey here coming to the loose section of the circuit. Bouncing his way then on towards the Joker lap section of the circuit. You should be able to stay ahead of Ollie O'Donovan here, and therefore come out ahead. Tony Bardi jokers, that should give Mark Higgins a place. This is O'Donovan's view through the dust. Steve Hill goes for the Joker lap also, incidentally, so it's now Godfrey leading. Second is O'Donovan. Is Higgins back up into the top three? There he is, yes, he's ahead of Bardi now, onto Speedway Straight. Speed building as Julian Godfrey is set for a second victory in terms of taking the checkered flag, first of the year. This is Ollie O'Donovan, hard at work, but Julian Godfrey has driven impeccably in this race, and it looks as though the win is going to be his. He's a 5-time British champion, he's a Super National champion, and despite that monster accident at Croft earlier on in the season, this immaculate Mitsubishi Mirage is fighting for the championship with one more round to go at Silverstone, and he could yet be that man that takes the title again. Across the loose he comes, then down towards the hairpin. Steps onto the tarmac and accelerates away. O'Donovan second and Mark Higgins still chasing, but really it's been his starts today that have compromised him. I wouldn't say it's been his downfall because the contact has really hindered him most of all, but you get a bad start, you've got cars around you, and then the contact comes. So Mark admitting after qualifying, starts haven't been his forte, hoping that he got a better run and there was no contact at the start of the final, and the opposite happened. So there is the multiple British Rally champion chasing after Ollie O'Donovan as he pendulums his way towards the loose. So Julian Godfrey leads the way. It's been an amazing debut season in the championship for Mark Higgins, the Albertech racing man, 2 wins. Julian Godfrey heading for a second. Ollie O'Donovan, of course, 3 wins. There is Godfrey, out of the hairpin, just drifts a little bit wide, but he's only really got a couple of corners to go now. It is going to be seemingly a win for Julian Godfrey as he sprints his way towards the Brooklands hairpin. There he is in second place. It's going to be Ollie O'Donovan and Mark Higgins set for third now. Checkered flag at the ready, and Julian Godfrey wins at Pembrey. Second goes to Ollie O'Donovan and third to Mark Higgins at the end of another very lively race. Julian Godfrey the winner, Ollie O'Donovan second, Mark Higgins third, then Tony Bardi, Steve Hill and Liam Manning ran out the top 6 ahead of Nigel Burke.
Julian, your third win of the season. You came here 5 points behind the championship lead, and now you're right back in it.
That's right, yeah, no, got good points tally back this weekend. Was a bit of a fight in the heats, but in the final I got absolutely perfect launch. I got it just about right on the RPM, and then from then onwards just kept it tidy and neat and no mistakes.
You were saying how you needed to be consistent here, so it's the second place. The 3 of you are in a really close fight for the championship going into the last round at Silverstone.
Yeah, I think Silverstone will be probably be a winner take all. I have to sit down and work out the points. I think second place might let me win the championship. I'm not sure. I just need to work out where we are on it. But it's definitely tight.
In the championship then, 8 rounds in, Mark Higgins leads by a point from Ollie O'Donovan and then Julian Godfrey. But if you take drop scores into account, O'Donovan moves into the championship lead, 4 ahead of Godfrey. Higgins 1 adrift in third. It will all be decided at Silverstone. That's where it all kicked off on a freezing cold March day. Join us for the last round of the championship.